Hey, this is John Samuel, and I'm super excited to be here today with Daniel Lee, who leads product communication and press for Eone, which is one of my favorite brands out there. It's the watch I wear, and so super excited to have you here today, Daniel.
Thank you for having me, John. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the show.
You and I have been talking over the last several months because I think we got connected after you saw one of my videos when I was talking about my watch. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. So I saw a link pop up that you were linking back to us, and I thought I'd check it out. And I was really, really happy to see your video. I think you were talking about the usability of the watch, and you were giving us a little show around the sort of fit shape of it and how it actually works. So it was really, really nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my, it's something I wear constantly every day. It's something that, as we think about the month of May and May 20th, which is Global Accessibility Awareness Day this year in 2021. And this watch really epitomizes everything to me about, the fact that accessibility can be sexy. It's something that I use to show people how we can design for everybody in mind. But could you kind of just talk about, kind of the innovation and things that you're working on at Eone?
I can't give too much away. Some of it's still under wraps, but what we've been doing during COVID is really trying to be community focused. So our goal was really to reach out to people one-on-one and actually get to know our customers a bit more than just, what's your name and where's your address and when did you purchase from us, which that's how it normally goes in a D2C company or a smaller company that's trying to get off the ground. So we spent a lot of time reaching out and getting feedback. And I think one thing that you mentioned amongst other community members is just a few more designs and maybe strengthening the magnets and the water resistance of the watch as well and durability of it. So we're doing a mix of things at the moment. We're in the process of building a brand new watch, which hopefully you guys all get to see this year. And then the performance upgrades in terms of the water resistancy, we're slowly working on that as well. And I think that's something very exciting with Ablr 360 going on. I'm not sure how much we're going to dive into that, but
yeah, yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I know that you've been talking to a lot of your community right now about the watch. So I'd love to be a user feedback person. So kind of what have you been talking to people? How can I help you as you're looking at, product design for new innovation?
What we've done was we've prepared a list of questions really just to try and get a sort of fairly rounded feedback from each person. So if it's okay with you, I'll run through some of the questions.
Let's do it. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, you let me know what your feelings were towards it, and if there's anything else you want to add. So we'll go through a little bit about yourself, and then owning and using the products, and then what the product means to you, and yeah, a few other miscellaneous points as well.
All right.
One of the biggest questions that we always love to ask is, how did you hear about Eone in the very first place? Like, what was your very first touch point with the brand, and what was your initial reaction to it?
So I work for, Ablr is part of a large organization called LCI, which is the largest employer of people who are blind. And there was a blind colleague of mine who was talking to me, and he said he wanted to go find a Braille watch. And so, myself, I'm relatively new to the blind community, and I didn't, I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So I went online and started looking up Braille watches. And for me, the timepieces were something that was really special to me. I mean, when I got my first job, I had, first thing I did was I bought an Omega Speedmaster. And so finding a timepiece was something I was always liked. And when I lost my sight, I could no longer see. So helping this colleague of mine was something that I was happy to do, because maybe there was something I could find for myself. And as I was searching, I came across the Eone Bradley watch, and it was awesome.
Did you hear about the story first, or was it sort of more the product first? What sort of struck you?
Yeah.
More?
So first, I found the watch. I saw
Hmm.
I heard about the watch. Then I started to look into the site, and that's when I saw about us, and that's when I heard the story, and that kind of sealed the deal. But actually, first when I first heard about when I found the Bradley watch, I started looking it up on like different YouTube videos about it, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was interesting when I watched the people talk about them on YouTube. They it was like the fact that it was for somebody who was blind was kind of secondary. People were talking about it from a design perspective and how cool it was, and I think that was actually really good for me as somebody who is blind, is finding a product that was cool and good looking for everybody, not just the blind community.
Definitely. And I think one of the original videos that we made with Hyung Soo was really talking about how the product is really there to drive confidence and to make everyone feel equal in terms
Yeah.
of like usability and accessibility, really. So that's really good that the feeling that you had towards it was exactly what we wanted. Really. What have you enjoyed the most about owning an E1 so far?
I'd say that it is as I mentioned earlier, is a way for me to show people how accessibility is sexy, how accessibility is good looking, how accessibility can be just stylish for anyone. And it's a conversation piece because I often feel that um, when I have my white cane or when people find out that I'm blind, there's this fear of saying the wrong thing. But when people see that watch, people are like, oh, that's cool. And they come and talk to me about it. And it becomes this, it breaks down barriers more so than I think um, y'all were trying to figure out when you built the watch. It breaks down the barrier of people wanting to talk about it. And that's so cool.
Exactly, yeah, and I think this barrier that you're talking about is definitely something that you and I have sort of talked about time and time again. And the whole Drip My Cane competition,
Yeah.
which is there to sort of open up that communication, right? That sort of platform, that stage for
Yeah.
discussion. So that's really awesome. And what sort of reactions have you had or comments have you had about the watch? Have there been any particularly funny ones or really silly ones that come to mind?
I don't know if funny or silly, but people, it's it's really cool. I wish I could see their faces because people are like, oh wow. It's just like, and it's almost when they see it, it's like I can hear, I know when somebody's seen the watch first. It's like this boom of excitement. And also, yeah, the number of people who want to take pictures of it. You know, I've had people in meetings like, oh, can I take a picture of your watch? And we're in the middle of a conversation, but they want to take a picture of the watch. My dad took my watch to go get the battery changed one time, and the people at the watch store were just all going crazy for it, taking pictures of it, and I think that may be the most interesting thing is the amount of people who want to take pictures of it.
It's crazy how the watch still gets that much attention. I think the design is really quite timeless. Before you owned the E1, was your perception on product design or like products in general, was it the same, or would you say having owned the one and having like heard about it and having learned about the story, that it sort of changed your perception on the way we should approach product designs?
Yes, when I started losing my sight, the products and things I use, like I talked about my former timepiece, my everyday watch, and and then pens. When I used to go into meetings, I used to have a long pen that I had, but then as my sight was diminishing, I could no longer see that fine point, and I was looking online. I was like, where can I find like almost like a Sharpie, but in a nice, classy looking pen? But I couldn't find it, and so I realized that products that were made for people in mind, people with disabilities in mind, um, they haven't really focused on the design aspects and the beauty of things and how things can be functional and aesthetically pleasing. And I think that
Mhm.
the E1 watch kind of shows that it can be, and that you can design with people um, in mind, start with people with disabilities and build from that and still build an amazing product. And I would have to be, honest, is that it was actually the E1, your design that really helped us launch Ablr in the way that we wanted to be this beautifully designed. We want to show how accessibility can be designed so beautifully. And I owe it to you one for that.
Oh, no, thank you. You're too kind with your words there. That's brilliant. Well, what, how would you describe an E1 to someone who's, say, never seen one before, never even picked one up? Like, how would you describe it to them in your own words?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm talking about it from a functional perspective or from just a design perspective, I talk about it. The first thing I often say is it's an accessible watch, which you can, using your hands, you can feel the time. And people wonder, like, how do you feel time? And that's probably the coolest thing, is that you can actually feel time, and by using your two fingers, you can feel these ball bearings moving around, and it's just like feeling the hour hands. But then these ball bearings can move around, and so I know some people who have who want to have these fidget spinners and stuff. It's another way of kind of, you can play with the ball bearing. It's actually quite. It's not only the watch functional. It's fun. It's something that's it's something that it's just now part of my I guess my own fashion, right? It's part of how I when I go out, typically it's part of it's my way of kind of showing people who I am now.
I think your answer to this might be a little bit biased. Seeing as our conversation might have swayed it, but would there be any other or any particular NGO or company that you'd like to see a collaboration or partnership happen with, besides yourself?
Yeah, I think about it quite often, actually, with with E1, with even other timepiece companies. My other two timepieces, I have a Rolex and I have an Omega. I think it has a kind of long history, and I think the E1, it represents kind of an innovation to this classic, such a classic thing, a timepiece. And I don't know if you're doing this yet, is the middle piece, the little circle, is even having branding in there, right, for different companies. So Ablr could even have their branding there, and just people could put different branding on that piece. It'd be cool for the Olympics. It'd be cool for, those type of things, to kind of get those, the USA team to be wearing things like this, in particular the Paralympic team.
It's like you're reading our working notes or something, John. So, do you have any other things that we particularly want to share with us?
Overall, I think it's just it's a lovely product, and I hope that we can get into more of the hands of professionals who are blind, low vision, and just professionals with disabilities, because I know that a lot of people have adopted the iPhone, the watch, the Apple Watch. But I think coming back to this analog kind of, this kind of timepiece is much, it's a really cool kind of perspective. Because I was in a meeting right before this, and I just was able to touch it and be able to tell the time, and knew I had to run out, right? And I know that the Apple Watch can do some things with haptics, but I think it's, we kind of get inundated by technology all the time, and to have something like this is super cool. And I think actually one thing would be cool is, I know it has a battery, but if it had the kind of the movement,
the mechanics,
yeah, or wine. Again, winding, it's tough because you have to, again, set the time if you don't do it. But having, kind of think about a more sustainable battery kind of piece. So I think
so definitely opening up more options for users to choose from, really. It's really insightful. We've just had one other call with brother and sister, I believe, just now, and that was super awesome as well. So it's great to be connected with the community a lot today. Awesome,
I'm glad. But thank you, Daniel, and I'm super excited to see what y'all are going to be doing, and I hope we're going to be part of that, in different ways. And I'm just super thankful we got to meet.